Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
As we are celebrating International Women's Day, it's such an honor to have you all. And with the topic, African Solutions to Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. As you know, we are living in a digital era, and technology is a necessity for women. But we are facing a lot of challenges as women, especially here in Malawi. I would like to know from each one of you, how do we think we should address the gap? How can we bring the solution? What should we do first?
Well, if I can just jump in, the first thing is to provide access to the platforms, because we cannot say there's digital innovations, digital inclusion when not all of women have access to simple things, even social media, because social media is also digital. When people don't have access to digital platforms, then that's a gap in itself. So maybe we can start to try providing access to digital platforms, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, I think also on top of that, I think we need to mold these ladies from the very young age, because often I think we've grown with this feeling that these digital platforms basically belong to men. From the statistics, I think from the internet, you read that in the digital world, there's just 17% of women. So how are we going to present our challenges that may need innovative solutions if we are not represented in the platform? So as she said, that we need that representation in the platform as women. So we need to start from a very tender age, molding these girls to start loving those 10 subjects that they are going to make use of when they are in their prime years, where they would be in the digital platforms.
Okay, so Esther, as we go to SDG goal number 4, which is quality education, we have talked about, Louisa said about women and girls. Do you think it is being done enough? The quality education, is it quality enough for us here in Malawi, or what should be done now to fill that gap on quality education in Malawi?
Well, for a country, we still have students learning under trees, you know. We still have that situation. I don't think it would be wise of me to say as a country there is quality education, because it would mean I'm being blind to some of the issues that are there. We still have kids learning behind under trees. We have classes that have been built but haven't been finished for the past 10, 20 years, because we keep being told that will happen. And to make it worse, I will say this, we have a curriculum that needs to be updated. It hasn't been, as much as we're told it is being updated, the policies that say our curriculum is being updated, but if we really look at what our students are learning now, and you look at how fast the world is changing, you then start to realize that kids aren't really being equipped for what is coming next, you know. We have to, I always marvel at Rwanda as a country and the education system currently, because they're kind of molding it in the way, how quickly the world is changing. You have kids from young ages, 5, 6, already learning how to code, because they know coding is life at this point. We are all always drawn up in our phones, our laptops, our tablets, whatever. So kids are being molded up to learn different things as the world is changing, according to how the world is changing. But then you come to countries like this, as much as we're a least developed country, there is not much that is being changed in our curriculum. And even though efforts are there, it always just seems like they're not enough to provide that quality education. So to answer your question, no, there isn't any quality education that is being provided, unless if you take your kids to a private school. So public education is not that great, but if you take your kids to a private school, you're at least ensured that they might gain that quality education that you wish them for. Yeah.
Ruth, I understand Pastor Zatu does a lot of menstruation management and period poverty, which is one of the major challenges which a girl child is facing. What should we do going forward about period poverty? This is for all ladies because we are all into it. What should we do now to fill the gap which is there? because a girl child still misses school. So if we want that girl child to give out that solutions of technology or gender equality, first we should also help her to stay in school. So menstruation management and period is one of the challenges which we are facing. What should we do on the way forward on that?
There's a lot of things we can do. Well, for starters, we need to educate ourselves as fellow women here. Recently in Kenya or Tanzania, I'm not quite sure, the Minister of Parliament, a woman, wore white trousers and she stained herself. And she was chased out of Parliament because she had period stains, and this is Parliament. And she said, no, I'll go in there and I'll do my part and I'll go back home after this because I'm here to do my duties. And everybody said, no, this is embarrassing, you are shaming your fellow women. And funny thing, it's the women who actually started to tell her this, not men. Because when men see that, they're a bit embarrassed. Rarely would a man come to you and tell you you have a period stain. It's your fellow women who tell you, as if, you know, you communicate with your period somehow to say, you know, and you can imagine if this is happening in Parliament, and it happens in a primary school, let's say a child who's these days at 10 or 9, someone has a period, they don't know what to do, it's the first time, they have stains, everybody laughs at them. The next thing is this child decides, you know what, I'm not going back to school. Because we've been in communities where students will say, I have my period for 5 days, for all those 5 days I'll just stay in the house. Literally in the house. I don't go out, I don't go anywhere because I don't have resources. So you go to school, you start your period, your teachers send you back home because they say, you need to take care of yourself. You go back home, there's no sanitary. If there's nothing sanitary at home, there's nothing sanitary at school. So what do? You stay at home. Your friends have already laughed at you, so you have stigma, and you decide, you know what, I'm just out, I'll not do it anymore. So we need to start educating ourselves, us in this room, to understand what it means and what we can do to help. And then simple things as sharing information, because you can go to schools and teach the mother groups and the teachers to say, you know what, if these students start a period, at least just help them to be sanitary. If we have the resources, maybe we can start to distribute sanitary pads if we can, or we can even help in building sanitary facilities where girl toilets have enough changing rooms to be able to change themselves when situations like this arise. Because I tell you not, there's so many dangers that are happening out there out of menstruation, because students go as far as using masamba when they are on their periods because they don't have anything else. And you know, that's just not unsanitary, but you can imagine the dangers of health that will happen in that situation. But no one really wants to have this conversation, even us fellow women who are exposed. So I feel like we need to start discussing it. And then when we are fully aware of all of this, we go in the schools and we share this information, because at the end of the day, we want them to stay in schools.
And to add on that, I think actually there's silence around menstrual issues is also destroying a lot of girls, because we can't, our culture has taught us to say we cannot discuss these issues in public. Rather, we can have them discussed in a closed door, and also not with a very direct relative. But a girl is advised to talk about menstrual issues to a grandmother or an aunt or somewhere. If they don't have access to that, they end up listening to very long information from their friends. So it's high time we break the stigma as well as the taboos around menstrual issues, so that in the end the girl child is also helped.
Just to add on what Louisa has said, actually, when I was pregnant, I feel like, because we're in a room where we have a lot of mothers, there was something that I realized when I was pregnant, and it is exactly what she said. There is never that direct person that tells us information, you know? It's always, or church where they'll equip you with information. That actually destroys a person, you know? Because if I am close to my mom, you know, and she is not comfortable enough to sit me down and tell me at the ages of 9 or 10, now girls are having periods way early. At 8, 7, a kid already has their periods. If my mother can't sit me down to tell me, at this age, your body is going to change. This is going to happen. Utabuyamba is magazama duruga kwakuti. ukakagona ne mamuna, you might get pregnant. And this is what happens. If you start having hormones and you want to sleep with someone, this is how you take care of yourself. That is the only way we can serve a girl child. Exactly what she said. It is all about information. And the unfortunate thing is, we have been raised in families that do not equip us with that information. And unfortunately, we ourselves are also raising a generation that will not, we are going to be the gatekeepers of that information. So, like she said, it needs us to break the cycle. And when it comes to situations of Anna Budari, it's really a thing of, if you're in town and you know that you are able to help, help out. It doesn't really need a lot. I am always in awe of you, Ennis, because with Chigondi girls, you were able to help a number of girls with their period needs, helping them, educating them on how to make reusable pads and whatnot. That is how you get a girl child to take care of themselves. And it really, if you take care of the physical needs, you take care of the mental needs. Because now, even with discussions of mwana wazimangiliro or whatever, we don't really look at the things that they need, that need to be addressed for them to have a sound mental health. So things like that, equipping them with information and knowing that as long as you're a close contact, you need to be that person who can actually shade down or flow down the information to that younger person. Then it becomes, and also if you're just someone who, with the group that we have here, a lot of us work with young girls and whatnot. Don't be that gatekeeper. If you know kuti anena wamaganika kulandira information from different people that are close to them, then be that person who can easily educate to tell them what needs to happen with their bodies. Because a lot of girls, the reason why they have issues is because they don't understand the changes that are happening within themselves. So it's always very important that we become those educators for the young ones.
And also, I think another crucial element in trying to end these stigmas and also period poverty is how well to involve the boys right from the very tender age to understand issues around menstruation. So we also need to advocate the involvement of these boys. When, for example, Nsikana Wazita is there in class, the boys should be the first ones to say, "Oh, Esther, Donna, was it not in a laughing way, but in a way to encourage her and also to offer a hand, so that in the end they are the ones advocating for menstrual health." Because right now ukamvanyamara au issues to do with menstruation, I think it's yes,
Yeah.
So it's high time we also normalize this, so that these boys, the men, should also be supporters of these menstrual issues. They should understand what ladies go through, because sometimes when a girl is complaining, when a girl misses school due to menstruation, they don't understand. They don't understand how girls are suffering due to issues of menstruation. So it's also high time we involve these boys and men.
All right. So last question that I had for you guys is, how should we explore positive transformation, like us ladies? For example, as women, we are struggling in so many ways. For example, like even to get a job, somebody, when you apply for a job, a man there, manager there, wants to sleep with you to give you a job. And there are a lot of challenges which we are facing. Maybe to just supply a tender somewhere, the person wants to sleep with us. So how should we expose and transform ourselves as ladies and make sure that we are supporting each other? What should we do to make sure that that part, as women, we are respected, we are getting our respect and dignity back by just supporting ourselves? How can we heal that barrier with men, and so that the men can respect us, we can get the respect back, and then we can be supporting each other? How should we do it in digital world, in our workplaces? How can we do it?
I think when we're doing the introductions, most of the ladies well articulated to the issue of having confidence in ourselves as ladies. We should believe in our abilities. We should believe in our skills. We should believe in our purpose. That those are the gates to the different opportunities that are out there. Someone rightly put it to say, we shouldn't be built on that moral order leader. We have to make sure that whatever opportunities we feel that the men have, we too can have them, and we can grab them using the different skills, the capabilities, as well as the papers that we have. We should not undermine ourselves right from the beginning as ladies. We have to know that we have the equal chances as men. So, for example, when we are in the workplace, we should not feel that our body is the one that is going to work for us. No, we should believe in our skills, in our capacities, in our expertise. We should have that confidence. We should have that courage. Thank you.
I think one problem that I've always found, especially with the Malawian system, is that when women come out to say, "Abodi, ananina abodi, if I need a job, I need to offer myself first, and I'll be given that role." It's an issue that we've talked about. The first problem that comes up is women will always say, "Bihola mene," or something like that. It's because as women, the first thought we have is, let's ridicule our fellow woman and praise this young man. It's an inferiority complex situation, which is something that maybe as women we're still trying to deal with as we go by, but it is an issue that we need to learn quickly not to do. Because if someone says, today it is her, but the next day it's going to be you.
Yeah.
It might be me saying that today. I might not have jobs or whatever because I'll be seen as a whistleblower, but at the end of the day, someone else will go for that job. She will have to have sex with that man, and at the end of the day, you don't know what will be passed down. There's diseases, STDs, whatnot, that might be passed down. But it's because fellow women or women are afraid to speak out because I'll be ridiculed. I'll be seen as someone who's lying. And I'm not trying to say that there are not others that don't lie. There's some that will take advantage of situations. But at the end of the day, we need to still see women as people that not per se need to be protected, but we need to realize that these are issues that are still ongoing. They are not done yet, and it's still a fight that will forever be ongoing. And just to add on, when you say issues with problems that women face. Another area that maybe as a collective we need to start looking at is, as much as we fight for women's rights, but like I said in the introduction, there is a power in fighting injustices, and I will say injustices, just injustices, rather than being particular in saying I am only fighting for women's rights. Because if you're fighting for women's rights, if I am fighting for women's rights, and she says, "Oh no, I only do gender-based violence," and she says, "Now I'm only looking at immigration problems or immigrants and how they're living." At the end of the day, what we're all trying to say is these are problems that are being faced by humans, and that's where we need to start looking at things, not things that are being faced by men or women. But these are problems that are being faced by humans. And in order for all these problems to be eradicated, we all need to work together, So it doesn't have to be a situation where I'm an activist. I only look at, racism. I only look at immigration issues. I only look at feminist issues. We all have to come up with a situation where we look at all the problems at once, you fight for them, and then, once those are done, you create an environment where everyone can live together in harmony. The unfortunate thing is, I will go back to some of the issues now that also make fighting for such problems become harder, is that if I say I'm fighting for women's rights, and she says she's fighting for immigration policies, for example, she might think feminist issues are problematic, in a sense. That way, not only are we now ridiculing each other, because at the end of the day, she's a woman, I'm a woman, we're all looking for the same goal, we're all aiming for the same goal at the end of the day, which is an inclusive environment. We're now fighting each other because we are starting to think, oh, what she's doing isn't important, what I'm doing is more important. So that is another issue that we have, where we undermine each other's problems to say, no, this is a bigger problem. I think I'm fighting for the bigger problem. This one is fighting for somewhat of a problem. we need to start looking at a bigger picture. It is all a problem, and it is our problem. And in order for that problem to go away, we all just have to work together.
Yes. Yeah. They say if you empower a woman, you have empowered the nation. So we need to empower ourselves and work as a team. I'm sure that this is not going to be the only meeting that we're going to have. We'll be meeting and for a cause with one goal. We're going to achieve a lot. So I'm going to take a few comments from the audience, and then we will have the final word.
No, before the comments come, I want to just bring something we need to steer our minds.
Okay.
To say, I don't know whether it's an issue of boundaries or maybe it's an issue of background on how fellow women have grown up in different spaces. I always find it interesting because recently somebody I know reported an issue of sexual harassment at their workplace because she said somebody she knows at the workplace gave her a hug or something like that. You know, for the rest of us, we can agree someone giving you a hug, yeah, you know, it's normal, right? Yeah, it's not an issue at all. But this person took the issue and reported it and said this was sexual harassment because she wasn't feeling comfortable with someone giving her a hug. But now, if I'm just bringing that up because I want, you know, there's issues of boundaries. Because now when she reported it, everybody else in the office said this one just wants attention. You know, you probably just want to ruin someone else's life. This person has worked here. You know, all of those comments. So there's issues like that where it's, and the rest of the office say, you know what, this is how we chill in this office. This is actually very normal. We come to work, people give each other hugs, and you know, it's how do you handle issues like that? I just wanted, you know, to bring that up to say, how do you handle issues like that? If something else is normal to you and it's not normal to somebody else, how do you deal with issues like those?
I think in workplace scenarios, and I actually understand that because it's happened to me before, you know. When I'm in a workplace, and this is me personally, when I'm in a workplace, I find it very weird for a man just to come to me and do this at my back, regardless of how normal someone will find it. But it gives me the GBs. I'm just like, you know? Because at the end of the day, what I'm feeling is we're in a work setting, you know? And this feels very intimate to me. And that's the same way I feel about hugs in work situations where I'm just like, you're giving me a hug, it feels intimate. Like, we don't have to do that. Let's have that personal space. A handshake is fine. Let's clap hands. It's fine, you know. But again, it also takes. I feel like even because at the end of the day, it's all relationships. Yeah. If someone starts working and you start to learn to know them, you start actually learning their boundaries just by conversing with them. You know what they're comfortable with. You know what they're not comfortable with. You know, and sometimes it's just necessary to ask, are you okay with me doing this?
Yes.
That person, once that person says, yeah, a hug is fine, you know, then you know to hug them. But if you don't ask and you just assume, goody, they'll take it as it's a friendly gesture, it becomes an issue because my boundaries are not your boundaries. I might be okay with kissing people on the cheek, but you might not like it. You might think it's too invasive, you know, so sometimes it's just better to ask someone, are you okay with this, before you actually do it. And for a work setting, communications, sometimes don't be too comfortable with your colleagues because exactly.
Well, I just
But
wanted to bring it
that's
up.
just
I just
me.
wanted to bring that up, you know, to bring out the different views that are going out there because it's now, if we're talking about issues of sexual harassment in the workplace, sometimes it's sexual harassment and sometimes it's not. But then it could be both. Maybe one might not just be aware that, but it's always safe to know to stand your ground. I feel like if you feel like it's not right for you, then it's not right, regardless of.
And I think also, this also takes my mind to the thought of today's theme in relation to online as well as ICT, gender-based violence. I think we've normalized that as a nation, and it's a pity when you see us women perpetrating online or ICT related violence. You just see out there, ish, kwatulukatu waiona kuti iweyo ndenda amene ulino patsogolo share. How you want to see your fellow ladies nudeness for what? So I think those are some of the things we've normalized as a society, which we're not supposed to normalize. So let's also reflect on that in relation to today's theme as we are reflecting on digital innovation as well as learning vis-a-vis gender equality.
You know, okay, sorry, I'm going to look like I'm speaking a lot, but it just reminded me. Weeks ago I was in Ilongwe. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a certain period of time there was a list that came out. And can now the list you had and stuff. There was about 200 contacts of girls that just came out randomly. It is. And the weeks ago I met one of the victims of that list. Like her number was in that list. And what angered me the most is the girls came together, they created a group, you know, to discuss who might have leaked the number. And once they found the person, you know, this one girl suggested, let's get him arrested. And the rest denied. Reasons behind, some thought, and to me, it's a thought that a lot of us women have, you know. We get abused in different ways, and unfortunately our mind gets to, if I report this person to the necessary authorities, or if it is your husband who is raping you, unfortunately a lot of women, even in marriage, do not understand that they can be raped by their husbands. You know, if it is your husband raping you in that marriage, because and how when you or we forget that it has been done to us. It is a violence on us, you know, and for that person to be comfortable to constantly perpetuate that violence and for you to keep taking it, it creates a scenario where, a situation where they think it's fine just to do it on you. So as a person who has been abused, never have that idea on anybody, if I report this to the necessary authorities, or some no, it is not your fault that this person thought to abuse you in any way, be it online or physically. It isn't right, you know. So I will always say, report it, you know. Let justice prevail on that person. It is not your fault. It is his fault that he could not contain himself but thought to abuse you first. Because you don't go out saying, you know. It's the same thing we used to say when it was Kudivula Masked. It wasn't your fault because we know how good some dress afubi or masked afubi or jintujotina. No, you chose goody, that is what you're comfortable with. You worried. It's someone's own problem to think, so always report it. Let justice do its own on the person who decided to do that problem on you.
And at the end of the day, like Louisa said, we should be our sisters' keepers.
Yes.
When it comes to human rights, it's all about respect and dignity. What you love others to do to you, should also not be done to ourselves. Let's stop that. Let's normalize sharing love to each other. We should love each other, sisters, more. When we find opportunity, let's share. Let's hold each other down. Men hold each other down. Opportunities. This time around, let's do the same. We should love each other more. Yeah.
It's funny how on my way here, I was telling Louisa and Precious to say, someone told me on Saturday to say, so I said to them, you're not a tutu. How dare you tell me the menu of my tutu? You're not one, so how do you know? At least, if anything, give me a menu of I should check, you know?
Okay, I'm a woman, blessed and dressed in feminine power. I embrace and cherish my natural being. I was wonderfully and fearfully made because I am a woman. Growing up as a girl isn't easy, let's be honest. So many women and girls still struggle out there, feeling like it's some kind of trouble during menstruation, opting for isolation. But as time passes, we learn to manage ourselves and realize that it's a beauty to be a woman, because I am a beautiful woman.
Wow.
Fly high for being a woman you are. Reach out and hold another woman's hand. Walk with your shoulders held high for being a woman you are. You can do anything. Oh yes, you can do it or better. You are one beautiful creation from inside out. I'm super proud to be a woman. Today I celebrate you, my fellow women, because you are beautiful women. Stand in front of your mirror and tell yourself, I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I can do it all. That's how to start the day. Because we rise up to fill the gaps in each other's life, that's how women we are, that's how strong a woman is. You understand me better because you are a woman and I am a woman. In these circles, let's get comfortable and make our space feel like a home. Happy International Women's Day.